I will never marry. That statement was made by Elizabeth Tudor, the first Queen of England and Ireland, when she was age 8. Today we're going to explore the various reasons why many historians feel one of the most powerful women in history never chose to marry. Let's begin by looking at the role of the female in 16th century England. It was a very patriarchal society. Women's role were viewed as subservient to the men. The man had supreme dominion over his female. And a queen was no exception. If Queen Elizabeth had chosen to marry, her husband would have had rule over her body and mind, and also the inheritance of her land and her power. This is a very crucial thing to remember because when Elizabeth took the throne, her role as queen was a very tenuous one indeed. It was a time of great political strife and upheaval. If she entered into matrimony and did eventually bear a child, her autonomy would be greatly diminished. The husband would basically take over. She could not rule as well as a female with a child, and certainly not as well as if she were pregnant. Her credibility and respect would have been gone. She would also have been viewed as very vulnerable at that point, because as a pregnant woman, her life at that time, with health care being what it is, she could have died any moment, and any plan on her life to assassinate her would have been easily carried out by a husband or a rival. Becoming vulnerable was something that Queen Elizabeth feared very, very specifically. She saw her own father ill-use all of his wives, especially Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth's mother. She was famously beheaded as one of his famous wives. She also had very few role models as a functional, healthy family structure. Again, her father was a terrible womanizer. He basically rewrote the laws of the church so he could become divorced. Immediate family members, their unions were full of turmoil, frequently dissolving, or banishment was the end result. Elizabeth recognized the role of females being very vulnerable when indeed. She also recognized her position as the head of the Church of England. With the title of the Supreme Governor of the Church of England bestowed upon her, she had two choices, and this was to either remain celibate or to be married. If she was married, she'd risk losing everything. Now, the question of marriage came in very crucially because she had two large foreign rivals, Spain and France. Now, if she married someone from France, a king, she risked alienating the Spanish. If she married someone else, she risked alienating them both. She also risked bringing Catholicism back into her own kingdom by marrying into one of these kingdoms. If she married France or Spain, they were both devout Catholics, and her father worked very hard to establish the Protestant rule. So, as the Queen of England and the Supreme Governor of the Church, she had very vested interest in maintaining Protestantism in England. This secured her legacy as the future queen. In conclusion, we have explored the various reasons why the Queen of England chose not to marry. She was subject of a patriarchal society. She saw her position as a female very vulnerable, and it threatened her tenuous hold on her throne. Finally, as the ruler of church in England as well as queen, she had to be the role model for the moral turpitude of the church. There was either celibacy or marriage. I will have but one mistress and no master here, she told the Earl of Leicester, her one-time love, and clearly she meant it. Thank you.